Hi guys, I'm Miss Emily, and this is Niku, and we're telling you a little bit about our story today. The story of Naomi, Ruth, and Boaz. But first, we have to go back and review a little. Do you guys remember a guy named Abraham? God promised Abraham 3 things. One, he promised him a big family. A family so big there would be more people in it than stars in the sky or sand on the earth. Yeah. And then he promised him a land, a special land for these people to live. And lastly, he promised his family would be a blessing to the whole world. Now, sometimes this family of Abraham's, the Israelites, obey God, and sometimes they don't. But when they obey God, good things happen for them. And when they don't obey God, bad things happen. Yeah. And in this story, there's something bad that's happened, which is a famine, which means no food is growing. I have to show you guys something. Ready? All right. This is our tomato plant, and that's our watermelon plant. We've been growing it just for fun, because it's fun to grow your own food sometimes. But if they don't grow any food, it's okay, because we can go to the grocery store, right? Well, in our story today, there was a famine, and a famine means the food wasn't growing for some reason. And the people in our story today have to move because of this famine. They couldn't just go to a grocery store and buy food. Yeah, uh-oh is right. Check this out. We were waiting on this strawberry plant to grow this big, fat, juicy strawberry. Every day we checked on it, Niku, every day, and it was getting bigger and fatter and redder. And today we came out and it was gone. A squirrel had eaten it. We were so disappointed. You know, if we really want strawberries, we can just go to the store and get some. We don't know what it's like to not be able to eat food ever. But some people do. And in our story, Naomi and Ruth knew it was like not to have food. And we're going to hear about somebody who helped them when they were in trouble, when they weren't sure how they were going to take care of themselves. Are you ready for our story?
Naomi lived in Judah with her husband and their 2 sons. There was a famine in the land, so it was difficult to find enough food to survive. Naomi and her family decided to go to Moab. While they were in Moab, Naomi's husband died. Naomi's sons married women from Moab, Orpah and Ruth. They all lived in Moab for 10 years. And then Naomi's sons died. Naomi, Orpah, and Ruth were all alone. The famine was over, so Naomi decided to go home. The women were very sad to leave each other. Orpah returned home, but Ruth clung to Naomi. Ruth said, "Wherever you go, I will go, and wherever you live, I will live. Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God." So Naomi and Ruth returned to Bethlehem together. Ruth went into the fields to gather fallen grain. She happened to go to the field of Boaz, a good man from the family of Naomi's late husband. Boaz saw Ruth in his field. He had heard how kind Ruth was to Naomi, so Boaz told Ruth to stay in his field where she would be safe. Boaz made sure Ruth had enough food. Ruth returned to Naomi and told her about Boaz. "Boaz is one of our family redeemers," Naomi replied. A family redeemer was someone who would help his close relatives if they were in trouble.
Thanks.
Naomi knew Boaz would take care of Ruth, so she encouraged Ruth to stay in his fields. Naomi wanted to make sure Ruth had a husband to take care of her, so she gave Ruth special instructions. Ruth put on her best clothes and laid down near Boaz's feet. In this way, Ruth showed Boaz that she hoped he would marry her. Boaz was surprised to find Ruth at his feet. "You are a family redeemer," Ruth said. Boaz promised to redeem Ruth, which meant he would buy back the land that Naomi lost after her husband died, and he would marry Ruth. Ruth and Boaz had a son named Obed. Naomi took care of Obed. When Obed grew up, he was the father of Jesse, who was the father of King David. Boaz cared for Ruth and Naomi because their husbands had died. In a similar way, Jesus is our Redeemer. We need help because we sin. Jesus bought our salvation for us by taking our punishment when he died on the cross.
Yeah, wow. Boaz was the family protector. He took care of Ruth and Naomi. Even though Ruth wasn't even from Abraham's special family, God had a plan for her. And she was one of Jesus's ancestors. How amazing is that? She was in Jesus's line. Now, our big picture question is, what is repentance? What is repentance, Javi?
Turning away from sin and turning to Jesus.
Turning away from sin and turning to Jesus. That's all we have to do to accept Jesus' gift when he redeemed us. How awesome is that? Pretty awesome, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
All right, talk to your families more about what it means to repent and for God to redeem us. And we'll see you next week. Bye.